So, you know, I just, I was at home. I actually have nothing to do. I have stuff to do, okay? I'm a busy woman. I always have stuff to do. But anyway, I have to tell, oh my god. So, I'm at a parking lot in hopes that no one will come. I'm alone. I just locked the doors. I have a car now, so I can do stuff like this. Was which was always like a dream of mine. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous that somebody will come up and be like, "What the fuck is she doing?" But I'm just doing therapy for myself. Anyway, I just got ready just to do this, just to look like this, and there is like a football team in front of me. I hope they can see me. I mean, I also hope they can. Like, I look like a snack, but still, it's a parking lot, and I hope no one will come, so I can just do this. Anyway, it's fun. Like, I was like 5 minutes ago, I was laying in bed, wondering what to do with my life, and now I'm here talking about my life. So I also have a topic for the day, and I was like, you know, I was yesterday evening. I was looking out my window, not smoking my cigarette or anything, but I was looking out my window and I was like, man, if I die tomorrow and I just keep journaling my experience in life, I cannot wait someone to pick up my journal and tell my story. I have to do it myself, and this is why I am here now. I will tell you the most incredible and funniest fucked up stories of my life because I've had some. I have I've I have plenty of them. And I'm just sad that I have like no one to tell them. If I had a husband, I would just tell him, because he would be the one that must listen to me. But that's not what I have, so I have you guys. And today's story is the story of how I met a yogi in Bali. This is one of the funniest stories of my life, and it's something that I will never forget. And actually, I really miss those moments. I miss those days where life was just so unpredictable and every day some adventure would happen. That's how I felt when I was 3 months away in Asia. And I know it sounds like silly and yeah, people would say you have to do the best out of your life now, which I'm doing. But if I'm being honest, I'm just working right now. I'm studying to get my bachelor's or master's, or I don't fucking know. And it's hard, man. It's hard. So I have to like keep on learning, go to work, go to uni, do this, get money, you know? And it's just boring sometimes because it's very monotone. So please don't tell me, yeah, life is good now. It is good. But it's not how it was in Bali. So let's get back to the story. Anyway, so I was in Bali in December, okay? And I I spent most of my time in Ubud. And then like 1 or 2 weeks after, I was like, yeah, I want to see like the southern part of Bali. And I decided to get on my motorbike by myself with my backpack and like travel the southern hemisphere of Bali. And I ended up in Ahmed and like what's it called? Ten, the Tenganan area, okay? It's like the southern part of Bali. It's also a very good spot for diving. I didn't dive there. I just like heard these lizards that say, how do they sound? Oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, that's how they sound. Yeah, that's what I like how I spent my days there. Um so yeah, and I was there for like 2 to 3 days, I also met like a married couple. That's what I remember. They were so cute. I asked about a love story and they said, yeah, we met in Asia. And I was like, do you think this will happen to me as well? It did not. And I got back to Ubud after I spent my days in the southern part of Asia, southern part of Bali, and I needed a hostel or a guest house, and my problem was everything was booked, and Ubud is like the main spot, I guess, and every hostel and everything was booked. I couldn't. Oh my god. The guys stopped playing football. Help. I don't give a fuck now. Honestly, the cringe just got away from me. This was Fatima's ghost haunting me. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So we had some complications, but we're all right now. So as I said, the hostels were fully booked. It was high season in Bali, and especially Ubud is a place where like most of the tourists go. So I couldn't find a guest house. My plan was to have a private room so I can be alone for a while, because actually I enjoyed being a bit alone. But my last chance was a hostel. So I booked a hostel online, and when I arrived at the hostel, I went to the reception as you usually do, and there was no one. No one in the reception. So I started looking around, and I saw like stairs that went upstairs, which was like the stairs to the balcony, to the rooftop. And I went up, and as I got there, the first thing I saw was a dark-skinned man with like long gray hair and white white clothes on. And he also, I don't want to be mean. Is it mean when I say that? He looked like he didn't wash himself. Sorry. And I talked to him. I was like, yeah, I cannot see anyone at the reception. So could you help me out? And he said, yeah, let me call the guy that owns the hostel. I was like, you have the number? And he was like, yeah. And so he called the guy. And while we were waiting for the guy, I was looking around at like on the rooftop. The view was amazing. Like you could see Ubud from that rooftop. It wasn't so high, but it was a nice place. It was open, so there was like no room or stuff. And I looked at the guy, and turns out he's Indian. I was suspecting him to be Indian because he looked Indian, but when he started talking, he had this accent, and I was like, okay, 100% Indian. And turns out he's a yogi. So I spent some time with him while we were waiting for the receptionist to come, and I just found out that this guy lives on the rooftop. He spends his nights and days on this rooftop. Like, he has no room. He just sleeps on the balcony outside. I mean, Bali is hot, right? It's so you don't really need a bed or sheets or whatever. So it's hot. So he just sleeps outside. I mean, if I was doing it, I would be scared at some point. Also maybe because I'm a woman, but he just slept on he slept on the ground. He had these sleeping sacks. He had one of them and he slept on that. He lived there with his two cats, I guess. He had cats there, and that's how I met him. He was a very, very fun guy. He came from India. I don't know how he got to Bali. I think he didn't also had money, and he was just vibing in Bali. And then the receptionist came. He showed me my room. I had a 4-dorm hostel room, and to my luck, there was just one person with me there, which was good because I wanted to be alone. But most of the times, I mean, you don't spend much time in your room, right? So it was all right. I went up to the balcony again after I like settled into my room and talked to the yogi because he got my only friend in Bali, and I had the best time with him, and I will tell you why. So um, we were just on the rooftop that night, and the moon was like, I think it was full moon. It looked crazy. We were both just looking at the moon. We're like, wow, beautiful. He said, "Do you know, do you know this thing like moon gazing?" I was like, "No, what is this?" And he said, "So you just look at the moon for like 10 minutes or more." And you don't blink at all, and then you feel like your body tickling, and like a strange sensation happening in you. And it's also like a type of meditation. I was like, all right, I'm down for it. I'm just going to do it with you. So I sat on this like bench or whatever. And I was just gazing at the moon like this without even blinking for a second. And he was like, "Yeah, gorgeous. You're doing gorgeous. Amazing." That was like a thing he kept on saying. And that's what I like. That's what I love about Asia, or in general, not Asia, but traveling. You just keep on meeting people randomly at like from any place of the world, and you just have the funniest experience with them. Not always, but it just, I mean, it depends on your perspective on things, right? When I told my mom this story, she was like, "How can you hang out with an old guy and just not be scared?" I told her I'm not, and I'm fine. I mean, I'm living. I'm still. I'm back in Germany. I wish I did not, but I'm still here. And yeah, that was what we did. And next day, or like the couple of days that I spent with him, one day I told him, "Yeah, I really want to like stay here, I want to have a life where I can just travel and see the different countries that exist in a world. That's my dream." And he said, "Wow, yeah." And I also told him, and I would love to model. Like I think I told him all of my dreams or everything that I was like thinking about at the time. And I said I would love to model one day. And he was like, "You do?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm just gonna wait. I will call someone. I know someone." And then he was like, he picked up his phone for whatever reason, but I think he's a very communicative guy, and just like, an old yogi, which everyone knows, these old people that everyone knows. He was one of them. He was like, "Yeah, let me just pick up my phone and I will call someone. I know a woman." I was like, "You do?" He was like, "Yes, I know someone. I will call her and then we can meet her." I was like, "Oh my God, yes." And that was the moment where my Delulu kicked in, and I was like, I think that's the opportunity that I was waiting for all my life. I mean, it was an opportunity. Not that it was not, but maybe not just the kind that I like expected. No, I'm joking. Just listen to the story. So he called this woman and we made like a plan to come. She said, "Yeah, you can come over." So we he took my motorbike. I was sitting behind him on my bike, which I rented because this guy has no money. And he drove us to the woman, and it turns out we are in front of like a big hotel, like a very, very nice one. Not those cheap hotels or hostels in Bali. It was a very nice one. So we stop there, and then we get in. Then there is like a big jewelry store. Not a store, but she had so many jewelries, and they were all like very unique and different sorts of jewelry. It was so good. And I I was like, where are we? So went into that room. There was this woman. She was like like I think she was 70-year old and Indonesian woman. Had a very unique face and she looked very classy. So we just started talking. I was like, "Hi, I'm Elif, and yeah, the yogi just told me that you can make my dreams come true." No, I'm joking. But I said, "Yeah, I want to model." And she was like, "Yeah, you want to model?" I think she didn't even talk like this. I'm so sorry. She was like, "Yeah, you want to model?" I was like, "Yeah." And then we started talking, talking, talking. She told me about her story. So she had a big jewelry company and she did a lot of selling. She sold jewelry on television. You know, when selling stuff on television was a big thing, which isn't really now. Maybe old people do it, not my generation, but when it, yeah, she said she did that, and especially I think in Germany. Funny thing, she was cooperating with a company that is in my city. I was like, I'm from that city. That's so crazy. Look at that coincidence. She was like, wow, yeah. And yeah, she still had like a lot of jewelry, but I think she didn't really sold them. Maybe she did. She did. She had a website, but I think it was definitely not as good as it was when like years ago, you know. Um so I was like, crazy. Oh. Yeah. And then I as we got to talking, and into modeling and all this stuff, I said, "Yeah, I can model for your jewelry, but I can also like do the photos for your jewelry. You know, I can find models and photograph them for you and do some marketing on your jewelry business and stuff." You know, I was showing about skills and trying to get a job so I don't have to go back to Germany again because I was very quick on money. Like Bali, I didn't even plan to go to Bali at the time because I had a strict budget. I only took like a limited amount of money with me because I couldn't afford more, and I needed a job. So that was like my plan B to stay in Bali or in general to travel a little bit longer by finding a job. And that was I thought that is the opportunity that I need. And I told her, yeah, I can do the marketing stuff. And she was like, all right, let's do this. You can work for me. I was like, yes, I would love to work for you because I need a job. And that's when I got like a job. So I was also able to stay at the hotel for free because I was working for her. That's like how we did the deal. But I didn't really start working. We just started planning on stuff. We were like, yeah, we can do a big Christmas party here and we can organize it. You can do this and that. I was like, yeah, I have so many ideas. And we just kept going like this. I told her, yeah, I just want to go to Nusa Penida. And then when I come back, we can work on everything. I know I meant what I said. You know, I was just, because I was also meeting with a friend. So I was like, yeah, I need to get to Nusa Penida, and when I come back, I will do it. Nusa Penida is an island which is like, I think a bit like 2 hours away from Bali. It's a very beautiful island. It's small and cute. I had amazing time, and yeah, that's how I like ended up. And then I spent my last days with the yogi before I went to Nusa Penida. He took me to a waterfall. I met some like local people there, and there was a guy who just kept saying that he sees my Krishna. I love this. And yeah, I went to Nusa Penida. I came back and I came back I came back crying because I couldn't find a hostel. No, not even a hostel. I wanted a guest house. I wanted a private room. I came back, couldn't find anywhere to stay. Actually, there was no place to stay when I came back from Nusa Penida. Everything was fully booked, and because it was Christmas, I think, or after Christmas, like everything was full. And I came back. I went to the rooftop where I met the Yogi because I couldn't. I had no place, and I went to him. I started crying. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot find anything. And you know the reason why I cried as well. I went to that woman who gave me the job, and she told me that she cannot. She doesn't want to work with me anymore. So all my hopes and all my dreams were just crushed in one moment. That's why I went back crying to the Yogi. Yeah. It was hard, man. I was like, oh my god, that's the opportunity of my life. Not my life, but for like a like for the time being. Yeah, it just crashed me. I looked at the Yogi. Yeah, she doesn't want. I don't have a job anymore. The man that I cannot say this. Now I'm left alone. I have no one. Yeah. And that's how it ended. And my last days, were rough, man. I was living on the bare minimum because I was always scared that I will have like zero money the next day. So I don't overspend because sometimes I tend to not look at my bank account. And yeah, I remember going to Uluwatu because it was my, what the fuck am I talking? There's so much more to this story, but I will tell you more next time. This was actually the story how I met the Yogi. And you know, it took me a lot of a lot of brain synapses to get into this place where I am right now in this car, to find a parking lot where I can park without being bothered. I mean, I think someone saw me talking to me right now. But yeah. I want to say this story just shaped me. I cannot tell you the story how I experienced it, but this is everything that I remember, and I cannot wait for life to be always like exciting. And what I want to say is, be open to experiences and to people. Don't be closed off, because every human has a message for you, and everyone can get you somewhere, even if it's just for a moment. I believe that when you're an open person, many doors can open and they also can close. But I mean, you won't get these experiences forever or by not doing anything. And I think I'm gonna shut up now because this is getting on my nerves. This took me a lot of like strength to get here, and it was fun talking to you. I love these interviews. I don't need therapy anymore. I found my therapy session is YouTube. Bye. If you like this video, if you want more stories for me to tell, I have a lot of them. Just like and subscribe and comment down below what you would like to know. Maybe you have a question that I can answer, or an experience. I don't know. Or if you want anything. Thank you. Bye. Thanks.